I'm not sure if this is a game with voice acting. It might have voice acting. If it doesn't have voice acting, I'm expecting it to not have voice acting. I'm expecting that I'm going to have to read things, which is fine because I'm expecting that. Okay. Okay. I'm here. I'm awake. Raging loop. Okay. Alright, wait a sec. This shit is heat. Can we talk about this? This is fucking dope. I'm not gonna lie. This intro is dope. Damn, I was not prepared for that, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Can I? Okay. What's up, Midnight? How are you? Okay, so they do have voices. I did pick English, so I don't know if they're gonna have English voices or like if I'm not sure how it works. So I'm under the assumption that they're gonna have like Japanese voicing or voice actors, and then I'll just read what they say. But if they have English voice acting, then that'll be cool too. But we'll have to see how nice the English voice acting sounds. There's a lot of characters. Okay, wow. Alright, we'll have to see. Okay. Read.
ペコリようこそノベルアドベンチャーゲームレイジングループの世界へ
I bid you welcome to the world of this visual novel, Raging Loop.
私は単なるどれに足らないインターフェイス的キャラクターです。そうですね。リカコとでもお呼びください。
I am nobody special, honestly. Simply consider me part of the interface. You may refer to me as Rikako?
ここでは初めてプレイなさる皆様にこのゲームの遊び方を簡単にご説明いたしたいと存じます。
You are most likely playing this game for the first time, that is correct, and I am here to explain a few things about it.
いくつか変わったところのあるゲームですので、最初はぜひとも 全部の説明をお読みいただきたいと思います。
This work is quite strange, you see. It's recommended that the uninitiated take the time to read everything here.
特に動画配信をなさる方は4動画やシェアについてだけでも必ずお読みくださいね。
Should at least read the 4 video sharing in section. See, what's weird is I got this game in December of last year. It said that there was like an embargo, like there was an issue with people. They wanted to make sure that people wouldn't show up to a certain part of the game or like past a certain point in the game. But that was 1 second. That was, like I said, from last year. Their like embargo thing, or not really an embargo, but telling people like don't play past this point was for October of last year. So I don't know if that still applies. I would think it wouldn't, since it's been like 6 months or something since the game was released, but I'm not sure.
最後まで読んでいただけたら私のセクシーな画像が見られません。世間は厳しゅうございます。さめざめ。
If you read into the end, you'll find a sexy CG of me. Doesn't exist. We truly do live in a society. A harsh society. How sad.
さて、何からご説明いたしましょう。
Now, where should I begin? About this game.
レイジングループはノベルアドベンチャーゲームというジャンルでございます。
Okay, Raging Loop is a visual novel.
小説のように文章で物語が綴られ、読んで楽しむゲームです。
Much like with regular novels, the story is told through text and the enjoyment comes from reading it.
世に言う人狼ゲームと深く関係する物語ではありますが、人狼ゲームそのものではないのでご注意を。
If you are familiar with the party games Werewolf and Mafia, this visual novel bears a close resemblance to those, but keep in mind it is just that, a resemblance.
スーパー人工知能リカ子20人と永遠の人狼ゲームを楽しめるとご期待された方、すみません。ざめざめ。もちろんただの小説ではございません。時折現れる選択肢によって物語が変化するすごい小説なのです。
What's up, bro man? Of course, this is not merely a novel. As you carry on, you will sometimes come upon choices which affect the story. It's quite amazing.
キャラクターたちが生き生きと描写され、生き生きとボイスを喋ります。作品世界に没頭できること受け合いです。
The characters have lively visual depictions as well as voices, making it easy to immerse yourself in this world.
せっかくの声をお楽しみになるためや、突如絶叫が響き渡らないためにイヤホンなどされるのも良いかと。
I'm dead. It really says to enjoy the voices to the full extent, or to simply avoid bothering your neighbors with the sound of anguished screams, please consider using
とっ
headphones.
ても大ボリュームな物語ですので、没頭しすぎて数日徹夜なんてことになるやもご注意くださいね。
This story is obscenely lengthy as well, so please take care not to be drawn in so thoroughly that you begin losing sleep. Well, I hate to break it to you, Raging Loop, but I have not slept since my last stream, which was, I ended it about 12 hours ago because I said I didn't want to muck up my sleeping schedule, but I have not been able to sleep. So here we are. Here we are.
なお、もうご存知かと思いますが、レイジングループは架空の殺人事件、恐怖事件を扱ったお話です。
Also, you may be aware of this already, but Raging Loop is based entirely around fabricated murders and horrific scenarios. Oh, I like it
サスペ
already.
ンス、スリラー、ホラー、そして謎に挑み解決するお話がお好きなあなたにぴったりの物語。
It's tailor-made for all of you fans of suspense, thrillers, horror, and mystery.
もちろん この物語は作り事で、実際の人物や、
Okay.
作中の学問知識、歴史、宗教、神話、科学、医学等の知識は創作を含みます。テストに書いたら0点です。そして描かれる犯罪や、そんな感じで現実との区別をしっかりおつけになったらもう大丈夫。本作を思いっきり楽しんでくださいね。
Just a disclaimer. Special functions.
レイジングループのストーリーは複雑に分岐しております。どう分岐したのか管理するのは大変かもしれません。
Raging Loop's story branches out in ways so complicated it might be hard to follow.
でも心配無用。本作では
The scenario
メニュー
chart.
を開けば、さらにこのシナリオチャートを使
Move to
え
any
ば
chapter
入
you've
った
already
ことの
been
ある
to.
もう選択肢では必ずセーブとは
Oh,
申しません。
that's cool.
これ
No
で
need
い
to
つで
save
も
at
選
every
択肢は選び
choice.
直せますので、シナリオチャート機能についてはまた後でもう一度。
That is a fucking
次に
lifesaver.
キーについて。レイ
Keys.
ジングループの物語分岐はすべて選択肢を選んだ瞬間に発生いたします。後から聞くものは存在しません。
All branching in the story happens immediately when you make a choice. None of them start taking effect further down the
そ
line.
の代わり、いくつかの選択肢はキーと呼ばれる特定の情報がないと開くことができません。
Some of the choices can only be unlocked when you have specific bits of information called
この
keys.
キーを探すことこそレイジングループ。その探し方は、
Okay.
ちなみに一度キーを入手して
All routes
開放
are
されたルートは
unlocked
セーブデー
by
タと関係
acquisition
な
of a
く開き
key.
っぱなしになります。逆に言うと、キーが未入手の状態には
You can't load back to a state when you didn't have the
そ
key.
れで読めなくなる文章はありませんので、あまりキーがない状態に戻して遊びたいという既得なお方には
Okay.
全データを初期化する手もあります。ご利用は計画的に。独特な機能に加え、レイジングルテキストウィンドウ既読文章のロードやオートセーブ機能もあるには、霧のいいところまで読むか、シナリオチャートをご利用いただくか、手動性。次にメニューから開け。ただ全部説明するとお願いいたしますね。
Okay, cool. About video sharing.
レイジングループはノベルゲームですから、それらすべてを配信されてしまいますと、かといってお楽しみは大勢というわけで、私どもは動画、ちなみにその範囲は最初の具体的にはシナリオチャート上の4潜入の
See, what I don't understand is
映
like,
像方法はで選択肢が出るまでが
is it
配信可能範囲です。
like, I don't understand. It would be like one thing if it was before the game came out, right? Or if it was in a beta, but it's been like 6 months or something. And you're asking people not to upload past a certain point. I'm like confused if this is still in effect. I'm kind of confused.
相当な長さがございますので、配信のネタにしばらく困ることはないと保証いたします。
Like, you're basically telling the player, you're gonna get invested. You're gonna get hella invested because this game is very complex and there's a bunch of different branching storylines. But anything past this point, we don't want you to upload. Like, it's confusing.
むしろ全文読み上げる派の配信主様は喉が潰れないか心配です。ちなみに動画配信のこの後動画配信終了のタイミングで突然謎のそこで収録はお開きとしていただき、あとちなみに今はオフの状態ですよ。はい、また切り替えたいときは0導入のここに来てくださいね。
Okay, well, I'll do what they say. I don't want to be disrespectful even if I don't get it.
ここまでお読みいただきそれではいよいよ物語の始まりです。限りなく濃い霧と血煙の向こう、繰り返される絶望と悲嘆の果て。
Beyond the pockets of mist and hazes of blood, at the end of the ever-repeating despair and grief,
人狼村の真実をどうかその目でご覧くださいませ。
please come and witness the truth of the werewolf village with your own two eyes.
ペコリ
Yeah, exactly, Zach. 5/11, Sunday. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I'd thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the road, so I'd figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. Suddenly, a rush of memories flitted into my mind. Forget it. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget.
もうやめやめ目の前の現実を直視
Enough of that. I gotta focus on what's happening right now.
人生はシンプルつまりこの道のごとく真っ暗で道案内もなく進むか返すか考えることはそれだけ
Life is simple, just like this road. It's dark and there aren't any guides, but that means all you gotta think about is whether you go forward or back. Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersections I'd been passing through, and that it'd taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped the scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides the asphalt below, my sweet ride, and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was.
進むか
Guess I'll just keep driving. I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the side of the road. Two hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no side to camp on. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit on it. I'd also had my first close encounters with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in those 2 hours alone. One of the deer had run parallel to my bike while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. I'd felt like it could smell my fear and did it just to make it worse. How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some venison once I came back to civilization. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up as either roadkill or animal food. And yet, I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry, and why I had gone on this stupid trip. Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me, anyway? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forests remained abundant though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the streetlights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Was streetlights the right expression for lights in a forest? I'd have to look that up. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly, I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. A convenience store? Yep, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended, giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently, even a damn store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. It was called Fresh Market. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. Was I close to a settlement, or did they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I just asked that, or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts, not to mention I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left end. Whoa. The worker at the counter was so mean-looking, it was scary. She was so imposing, I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some lady's army corps. What? What the fuck? Was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Was this how this place made a profit? By taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money? Shit. That was scary. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I sure was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at a magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. What the fuck? What the fuck? What kind of fucking idiot are we playing? Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. It was about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationeries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cup ramen, and dried food. A fridge, a freezer, it all looked normal. It was late, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about this place was the section full of unpacked vegetables you'd expect to see at a greengrocer's. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this? I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so all in all, it was an unremarkable store, if you ignored the clerk, anyway. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Yep, she really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? You're actually buying? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk, and I'd be her god, the customer. 126 yen. She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. Maybe I had to get mad at her?
ちょっといいですか?
Can I ask you something? Huh?
実は道に迷ってしまって。
I'm kinda lost right now. I quickly turned meek.
町はどっちにあるでしょうか?
Where can I find the nearest town? There.
いや、できれば地図とか。
Don't you have a map or something?
ない。
We don't. Man, this woman.
いや、そんなはずはないでしょ。コンビニなんて大体道聞かれるから、地図は常備してるもんでしょ。
I'm not sure I believe that. Convenience stores often get asked for directions. You must have a map handy.
知らねえよ。ないもんはね。おとなしく来た道戻れよ。
That a rule? Well, we don't have one. Go back wherever you came from.
もう数時間迷ってるもんで、これ以上はちょっと。
I've been lost for a few hours now. I don't think I can keep it up for much longer.
その辺の床で寝てけば。
So sleep on the floor or something. She had to be joking.
いや、お気持ちだけでいいんで、道だけちゃんと教えていただけたら。
I appreciate the sentiment, but I'd rather be on my way. Are you sure you can't help?
ああ、もう、せえな。待ってろ。
Alright, just wait. The clerk put out her smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time.
あったわ。
Found it. So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation. What's up, Archon?
これがこの店。で、十字路を北へ行け。
This here's this store. Go to the north of the crossroads.
しばらくしたら立教があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっからそこを右折してあとは直線。
You'll find an overpass soon enough. Cross it. When you come to a fork next to a giant boulder, turn right and head straight.
この道？
On this road?
んだよ。
What of it?
いや、この先何もなくないです？
There's nothing there.
書かれてねえだけで集落があんだよ。
There's a settlement. It's just not on the map.
そこ以外なら？
Do you know of any other
富
places?
士吉村まで行くには峠道を2時間。こっちなら30分で着く。
There's Fujiyoshi, but it's 2 hours through a mountain pass. This one's about 30 minutes away. Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I'd had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again.
じゃあ、こっち行ってみます。ありがとうございます。
I'll go to that one then. Thank you.
金
Money?
はい。
Excuse me?
払ってねえだろ。茶のやつ。
You didn't pay for the tea.
ああ、じゃあ500円。
Here's 500 yen.
なぜお釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか？
Why did you put the change in the collection box without asking me?
小銭多いとうぜえだろ。
Having too many coins is a pain, ain't it? That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea — she didn't give me a bag, by the way — and left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Why is this guy so angsty? Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I probably wouldn't have noticed it were it not for the tall boulder, standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put to the greatest test yet, as we basically tumbled down to the bottom. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew then that I'd be flung out of my seat. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing, but that was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Damn it. An accident where I was flung out like that was a first for me. The launch was really something too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment, and the pain was so bad I thought all my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine, at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down and my hands sunk. This grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. Oh boy. It was lying on its side a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on turning, making an unpleasant fricative noise. Yep, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like this actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on a road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in mud, so there was the risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around? The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket, took out my phone, and opened it up. As you'd expect, I was out of range. I ran the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. Isn't there like supposed to be music? Okay, or like ambience? I had no idea how long I'd been walking for, but sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps? I could hear water, too. I might have been near a river. Hello? I raised my voice. Hello? Anyone there? Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take away a few years of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for us both to let the other know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids?
すいません
Hello? I shone my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or a stream rather. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach in the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people, though. No one responded to my shouting, either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I'd figured that crossing a river barefooted at midnight was a bad idea. But man, was it cold. I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case they fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. That was too close for comfort. Filling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I'd expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. It suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound in my every step, I walked up to the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight, lying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather, until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening. And yet, the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of night. There was no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right. The fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above?
こんばんは
Hello? I heard a voice the moment I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made up of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them.
こんばんは
Hello?
あー人だびっくりした
Wow, a person. You surprised me. That was my line.
悪いんだけどそれ取ってもらえます
Sorry, could you pick that up for me? The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on.
落としたってわけですか
So, you dropped this? I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of voice.
やん
High-pitched voice, slender hands shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman.
眩しいな
It's so bright.
失礼ちなみにこっちはこういうものですが
Oh, sorry. This is me, by the way.
怖いです下から照らさない
That's creepy. Don't shine it up from below like that.
実は当方道に迷っており
I'm actually a bit
だ
lost.
とすると割と究極的に迷ってますよ
I think a bit is something of an understatement then. Yeah, thought as
こ
much.
こって人里です
Is this a settlement?
難しい質問だな
That's a difficult question.
とりあえず助けてもらえないかと
Can you help me out at least?
助ける
Help?
雨露しのげて野生動物がいなければ何でもいいんで
I just need a place to hide from the rain and wild animals, that's all.
うーん
Hmm. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face.
じゃあうち来ます？
Wanna come to my place? And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place. My place. By that, she surely meant a house. A settlement.
いいんです。頼んどいてなんですが、遠慮を忘れてすがりたい程度には切羽詰まってるんですが。
Can I? I know I asked for help and all that, but I'm actually desperate enough to not hold myself back.
え？男として？
Huh? As a man?
ええ。いや違う。一個の生命として。数時間迷った挙句、バイクでこけて、心身ともに限界ってわけです。
Yes. I mean, no. As a living being, I spent the last few hours aimlessly driving around only to fall off my bike. I'm dead tired and I'm at my wit's end here.
あらら。なら見捨てるのもどうよって感じじゃないです？一個の生命として。
Oh dear, then what kind of living being would I be if I just abandoned you? And so I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living beings looking out for each other.
じゃあ手、いいです？
Anyway, your hand, please.
ん？
Hmm?
ここ、一人じゃ登れないでしょ？
Can't climb up on your own, yeah? True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed it with my own left. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. The girl's name was Chiemi Sarazawa. Can I call her Shy? Or Chi? I asked if she was related to the Shensengumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji period. She was a 21-year-old who went to a college far away from here. This was her hometown, and she was spending her post-exams vacation here. We chatted about stuff like that once she'd let me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground.
ちなみにそちらは？
And what about you?
名前は久石春明。東京で大学院生やってます。
I'm Haruaki Fusashi, a graduate student in a Tokyo college.
じゃあちょっと年上。
Ah, so you're a bit older.
24だから、芹沢さんと3つ違いかな。でもまあ、同世代でしょ。
I'm 24, so 3 years. I'd say we're in the same age range.
ちえみでいいですよ。敬語とかもいらないです。
Yeah, so don't you dare be formal with me.
じゃあ僕も、呼び捨てタメ口がいいな。
Alright, then you can be casual with me too.
ですか？
Can I really?
女の子に親しくされてるみたいで、嬉しいからね。
I like it when girls are friendly with me. Okay.
なるほど。実は私も堅苦しいの苦手なんで、じゃあ遠慮なく。
Ahaha. Well, I know what you mean. I don't like stiff socializing either. Sure, I'll treat you like a friend.
どうぞどうぞ。ちなみに、まだ結構遠い？
Wouldn't have it any other way. That aside, are we there yet?
そうでもないかな。もう5分くらい頑張りましょい。
Not quite. We're like 5 minutes away. Hang in there, Chief. What a lively girl. You could tell she was used to people.
ただ、足元に気をつけて、明かりだけ見て。
Watch your step and focus on just the light. One sec.
何かあるの？
Any reason?
この辺、石ころだらけで危ないんだ。
There are loads of pebbles here. It's dangerous. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to be called a pebble. Okay. Let me I guess when it asked me in the beginning, the language, I guess that just means the subtitle language. And it's pretty dark tonight. Can I not skip it with space? I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand. I gotta change. Wait here a sec. And so, I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I'd expected some old wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. It was too dark to get a good look at it. All I could see were the cheap-looking walls, like you'd expect from some old boarding house for students. Also, she lived on the second floor, in room 202. I'd heard some raindrops as we were climbing the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, the darkness, and the large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. It felt like I was all alone in a world of nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat helpless. I distracted myself from that by imagining her chain. Motherfucker, are you for real? Are you being serious right now? Eventually, the door opened up. Sorry about the wait. Come in. All smiles, she showed herself, now wearing sports clothes. This was kind of exciting. I thought this was a horror visual novel, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's adult rated. I don't know. Look at this place. It's completely empty, huh?
何にもないね。
Yep.
でも冷蔵庫の中はほら
We got a load of what's in the fridge.
素晴らしい。
Magnificent.
飲みますか
Let's drink.
やったぜ。
Hell yeah. Yeah, her place really was empty. It was just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were 2 old-looking bookshelves, too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit, though. Any girl's room was a wonderland. Dog, come on. We just started. We just started. Bruh, I fucking can't. Any girl's room is a wonderland to me. Like, what? If you don't. Gas mask beer, classy.
じゃあ大変だった春秋さんにお疲れ様
Anyway, you went through some big trouble, so I'll drink to you.
地獄で出会った仏様に乾杯。
And I'll drink to you for helping me out. You're a real saint. We opened up our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Hey, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo.
おいしいこのためだけに生きてる
So good. I live for this.
その若さでそれはないでしょ
Come on, you're too young to say that. She's literally 3 years younger than you. Like, what?
言い過ぎた愛や将来にもまだ絶望してません
Yeah, you're right. I'm not despairing for my future or love life yet.
う。ところが、就活という影が迫る。
You hear that? That's the sound of job hunting. It's coming here fast.
いややめてせっかくのビールがまずくなる
No, don't say that. You'll ruin my beer. She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold her drink. That aside, something really bothered me.
お誘いに乗っておいてなんだけど、
This might be a bit late for this, but can I ask you something?
何？
Go ahead. Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I had thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit... Oh my god, what did I get myself into? Bruh, I really thought this shit, like, come on. A common? Wait, did I say it wrong? But I could tell she had some makeup
僕は
on.
完全に正体不明の自称迷い人だよね。
To you, I'm just some stranger who says he's lost, right?
そうね。
Yeah?
君は年頃の女性。今は深夜。ワンルームの密室で男と二人っきり。その上アルコールまで入ってしまった。
And you yourself are a young woman who invited that stranger into an enclosed space and started getting drunk.
おお。
Oh.
身の危険を感じたりとかは？
Don't you think this is dangerous?
うーん。
She kept gulping the drink, even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could just watch her do that made this a pretty risky situation, and yet...
あんまりないかな。
I wouldn't say so, because I'm stupid and don't have a brain.
それは。
But...
芹沢ちえみクイズ。
time for a cheat quiz!
イエーイ！
Oh, that sounded cute.
問題。ふと気づいたら低層が瀬戸際。にもかかわらず、芹沢ちえみは特に身の危険を感じない。なぜでしょう？
She's gonna eat us. Here's the question. My virginity is threatened, yet I don't feel like I'm in danger. Why? What a fun girl. I am going to die right now. This only made me like her more, increasing the danger even further.
質問 OK？
How is it dangerous? Like, can you not like control yourself? That you're like you feel like you're putting this woman in danger because you can't control yourself? Like, what is the danger here? If you're not gonna hurt her and she's not gonna hurt you, then like, what's the danger? Am I allowed to ask questions?
どうぞ。
Sure.
僕のことがいい人っぽいという答えはなしでいいかな。
Can I just assume that it's not because I look like a good guy?
悪い人に見えるってわけじゃないけど、まあなしかな。女の子慣れしてそうだし。
Well, I don't think you look like a bad guy. But no, I doubt you're good either. You look experienced with women, for one. That unintentional compliment showed that she actually did see me as a potential danger.
考えられる回答は大きく2つ。想定外だが何が起きても問題ない。もしくは想定通り。
This is not what I wanted from this. There are two types of answers to this. Either you expect nothing bad to happen but wouldn't be bothered if it did, or you actually want something to happen.
ふむ？
前者はいろいろ考えられるかな。例えば、
I'm
ちえ
so
みちゃんが何
uncomfortable.
かやけっぱちになっていて、どうにでもなれって場合。
I can think of several situations for the former. For example, you're actually on the edge and don't care about what
あるい
happens.
は十分な自衛手段がある。実は護身術の達人で僕なんか軽く乗せるとかね。
Or maybe you're just confident you can defend yourself. Maybe you know martial arts and can easily kick my ass.
おー、論理的。春秋さん理系だね。
Whoa, it's so logical. Let me guess, you're a scientist. It would be so fucking hilarious if she was a demon and just ate him. I agree. And predictable.
まあそうかな。一方で後者。
That would be
つまり
funny.
この状況が君の想定通りって場合は。
How else does her hair just float like that? It has to be demonic energy. Well, I guess you could say that. Now for the latter, if you intend for something to happen, then
例えば、私がエロエロですとか
I'm a thirsty perv or something. Wow, talk about not mincing words.
酔っ払ってきたな。さて、他には何があるでしょう？
I blame the booze. So what else is there? Indeed, what other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? It would surely be something non-standard, like,
僕の存在が君の利益になる例。
you want to use me
例
somehow.
えばアリバイ工作。君がここにいたと後日僕が証言することで君が有利になる。
For example, setting me up as an alibi. I could be useful to you by attesting that you were here.
おお、ちゃっかり利用するわけだ。
Whoa, that's so shrewd.
あるいはちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で僕を酔っ払わせてぶっ殺す。
Or maybe you're a serial killer who brought me here just to get me drunk and kill me.
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
Whoa, so I'm some evil mountain witch now. Sounds great. I'll kill you real good. Splash, splash. What kind of sound effect was that?
ちなみに前提で出た2つのケースの他に1つあるよ。
By the way, you forgot another case.
あれ抜けてた？
I did?
うん。私がとってもいい人で、春明さんを助けてあげたい一心だっていうケース。
Yep, I could just be a really good person who simply wants to help you. Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind?
いやでもそれで自分が襲われるかもって考えたら。
Is that really important enough to risk being assaulted?
わあ、襲うって言っちゃったよこの人。
Oh, so you're thinking of assaulting me.
あ
I could be
Eat
playing
Bolo.
Barbie Horse
Eat
Adventures
Bolo.
right now. I'm just talking in general, you know, the cliche scenario. She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute, I thought she was actually doing it on purpose. Man, was she drunk. Oh my god, I just don't like this. I just don't like, there's not a damn thing about this that I like. This is just going down a road that does not lead to anything good. And we were just on our second cans.
じゃあこういうのは止めないともっとひどいことになる。それはさすがに忍びないなとか。
Then how about this? If I don't let you stay here, something even worse would happen, and I'd feel real bad.
ごめん。もうちょっと詳しく。
Care to elaborate?
この辺りには怖い野生動物が出ます。明日にはこの人はズタズタに引き裂かれてしまうかもしれません。
There's some real scary wild animals around here. You might have gotten torn up and
こ
eaten.
のまま見捨てたらとても寝覚めの悪い思いをするかもしれません。それならまあ止めてあげようかしら。
That have left a bad taste in my mouth, so I figured I'd just let you stay instead.
なるほど。リスクと善意を天秤にかけるってわけか。これは想定外。
I see. So you're balancing risk and goodwill. Didn't expect that.
想定外か。この人だいぶ悪い人なんじゃないかって気がしてきたな。
Really now? You got any idea how much of a bad guy you seem now?
そう？
I do.
だって善意を選択肢に入れる前に殺人鬼とかアリバイとかエロエロとかさ。
I mean, you assumed I was a thirsty perv, a serial killer, or needed an alibi before considering I was just a nice person.
ヘロエロは君が言い出したんでしょうが。
You're the one who brought up the perv thing.
そうだったっけ？で、答えは？
Details, details. So what's the right answer?
これって単なるバカ話じゃないの？
We're not just messing around.
正解者には素敵なプレゼント。不正解者はブッシュブッシュ殺します。
Get it right, and I'm giving you a nice present. Get it wrong, and you're dead. Splash, splash. Seriously? Uh-oh, 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 mama. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Well, you can like her all you want, but if we die here, then we're dead. Game over. You need an alibi.
ピンポーン正解です。
Oh my god. They were probably all right options, but... Ding ding ding, you're right. I knew it.
いやー、だって怪しいと思わなかった？こんな真夜中にあんな場所で何やってたのって。
Seriously, what did you think I was doing there so late? Weren't you suspicious?
それは確かに。
Good point.
あそこで何かしらヤバいことをしてたのはもう確定として、それをごまかすのに好都合な証言者が登場みたいな。
Assuming I was up to something really bad, your testimony would help hide it. How convenient.
おお。
Whoa.
あるいは迷い込んだ山中の集落でサイコが襲撃なんて夢があるよね。 C 級ホラーのお約束だよね。
Or maybe the settlement you stumbled into is actually the haunt of a murderous psycho. Happens all the time in B-grade horror flicks.
しかもこのクイズ、不正解時のペナルティが殺人という露骨なネタばらしが仕込まれていたしね。
And by saying you'd kill me if I got the answer wrong, you just spoiled the whole plot. It was you all along.
しまった天然だ。恥ずかしい。こいつは口封じに殺すしかないね。
Oh no, I'm such an airhead. How embarrassing. Now I gotta kill you to make sure no one finds out.
正解商品も殺人とは。
Winners get death too.
じゃあ、ちえみ食べます？
Huh? Want me as the prize instead?
やめとく。
Nope.
が
Oh no. Anyway, this girl was actually pretty sharp. She really had a way with words and knew how to capitalize on it. It almost felt like she was implying that I couldn't let my guard down just because I was a guy. I admitted she was pretty damn attractive, but I felt like I'd have more fun just talking about lewd stuff than acting on it. What? 5/12, Monday. The last thing I remembered was our little, when was the last time you pissed yourself while sleeping talk. I had to tell her about the time I got so drunk I wet my pants in the middle of the boarding house. She laughed so hard she started frothing out at the mouth and passed out. I woke up with a splitting headache. Oh man, morning already? Light poured in through the frosted window. I pulled out my phone and checked the time, 7 in the morning. I'd gone to sleep somewhere between 2 and 3, which probably wasn't quite enough sleep. At least I didn't wake up to some horror movie scene. The building wasn't in ruins and the girl wasn't actually a skeleton. Though in a way, this might have been worse. She was spread out on the floor on the other side of the mini table. Her breathing was mixed with some weird gurgling sounds. I hesitantly looked at her. The saint that saved me from the hell I was in last night had puked in the middle of her sleep. What was I supposed to do here? As a guest, I couldn't really be too harsh on her.
ちえみちゃん
Is she alive? Did she puke and choke on her puke and is she now dead? Like, what the fuck? She wasn't waking up. Well, I just do what little I could. Kill her. Get rid of the evidence. There, that should be good enough. I had used tons of toilet paper to clean up her mess and flush it down the toilet. It left a stain on the floor, but it was dirty to begin with, so whatever. I'd even wet a towel and cleaned her face. Even then, she showed no signs of waking up. Some of it was on her hair and clothes, but I figured it was best if she took care of that herself.
ちえみちゃん
朝
Morning? The first hint of consciousness so far
ちょ
today.
っと出ておくから
I'll be leaving for a bit. Without waiting for a response, I walked to the entrance. She'd have to take a shower and change and all that, so I'd kill time outside. I stepped into my still damp shoes with my bare feet. My socks were in the washing machine with the towel she gave me to wipe my legs, and reached for the doorknob. I opened the door and was greeted by a gust of wind. Whoosh. The raindrops gathered on the leaves of the tree next to the building blew right into my face, making me grimace. The rain from last night was already over. The sky was pretty clear, but despite that, I noticed the visibility of my surroundings was poor. The building was surrounded by leaves. The old structure was basically buried in a forest of trees about as tall as itself. There were branches poking into the exposed hallway. It almost felt like they'd reach out and grab me if I wasn't careful. I kind of felt like I was in an overgrown ruin. I turned around and saw the room and Chai just as I left them. Yep, it was all real. I closed the door. There were other rooms in this building, which made me wonder if they were occupied. Hell, I wondered the same thing about the area in general. I pushed the branches aside to see if there were other buildings nearby. Suddenly, something entered my vision. It didn't feel right. Something that shouldn't have been there. The leaves I moved revealed a woman clad in curious clothing. The moment I recognized her as such, she opened her closed eyes. Did our eyes meet? Another strong wind. What's up, 12E? I shielded my face from the spray of raindrops. When I looked outside again, the woman was nowhere in sight. Was that an illusion? If not, then what? What kind of place was this? It could have been a real Hicksville, a marginal village, a bunch of actual ruins, or an illegal settlement. I had some theories, but I set them aside for now. It seemed like a place worth exploring, regardless. I went down the stairs and found no sign of the woman, or anyone else for that matter. A short distance away from the building, I turned around and sure enough, it was pretty much covered in trees. I went to the place where I saw the woman. There were footprints in the grass here. Maybe I'd find her if I followed them. Don't do that. Don't. What are you doing? They led me to an open area. It was unused, but it looked like someone was trying to do something with it. Was it supposed to be a construction site? Even if it was clearly abandoned. There were large rocks and lots of sediment near a prefab. From what I could tell, there had been a giant landslide which forced them to stop construction. The fact that plant growth was still minimal meant that it happened fairly recently. The footprints seemed to be going down the hill next to the site. Following them, I finally saw something that could be called civilization. There was a set of paddy fields with houses nearby. So this actually was a settlement. What a relief. I decided to keep following the footprints and approach the settlement. I came across another unpaved path that was clearly used by people and cars. It was lined with weeds and bushes reaching up to my waist. It was home to caterpillars and grasshoppers, among other things. Spiders were no exception. There was no shortage of insects there, so it was a good place for a net. I wasn't particularly scared of spiders, but I didn't like them either. At least they were just harmless orb weavers. Regardless, I avoided these bushes just in case and followed the path like the good city boy I was. There was a large boulder surrounded by grass. It was strangely tall, making it look like it was put there by people. On its dewy surface, there was a gray tree frog, ready to go after the many insects scattered about. I walked a bit further and came across a house with a small field nearby. The field's location made it safe to assume it belonged to the inhabitants. If there were inhabitants, anyway. I couldn't see anyone, and just like always, there was grass everywhere. There was another boulder standing next to the house. This one was obviously placed there by a human hand. What was the point? Was it a monument or something? The footprints continued into the field. The wet mud on the field was full of small, young, but healthy-looking rice plants. If you ignored the standing boulders in the area, the place looked like a normal farming village. I was both relieved and worried at the same time. From what I saw, there weren't any other buildings besides the ones in this settlement. Everything beyond was just mountains, meaning that this place was completely isolated. And I was a complete outsider. There was no way things would go well if I ran into a random local. I belatedly crouched to hide myself a bit. It was probably best for me to go back. Shy might have been looking for me. Suddenly, I heard a sound. I looked for its source and found a speaker on a wooden utility pole in the middle of a small plaza. A morning broadcast? I'd never heard this tune before. It was cheerful at first, but had some parts that seemed really dark. I found it unsettling. Perplexed, I stopped walking, and what happened next made me hide myself. There was a person in the area densely surrounded by houses, but they weren't normal. It's just an old lady. What was with that appearance? What was that on her face? Though I was a fair distance away, I could see an old woman with some sort of cloth over her face shakily walk out from between the buildings. Oddly enough, there were boulders even there. But even weirder was the fact she walked up to one of them, lightly joined her hands, and bowed her head before it, her face still hidden. Then, all was silence. It actually looked like she was revering it. To me, it looked like she was praying to it. This was bad. Really bad. I'd wandered into a settlement with a unique culture, to put it lightly. Forget causing trouble. An outsider like me could get killed here. I just turned around and ran for it. I dashed up the hill, past the house, through the construction site, until I arrived back at the apartment building. Shia looked like a relatively reasonable person. Maybe she could tell me what was up. It just hit me that the way she described this place was somewhat weird. She basically said it wasn't normal.
あるいは、ちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で、僕を酔っ払わせてぶっ殺す。
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
No way. What if she was actually the bait they used to lure outsiders here? Eventually, the broadcast stopped. Shai still hadn't come out of her room. She didn't respond even when I knocked or called out to her. I didn't have to worry about this, right? That just made my inexplicable unease grow worse. What if this was a trap? Was I in a dangerous situation? I had to talk to her. If she was a normal person, anyway. Maybe my best option was to run away right now. I wouldn't know where to run. I couldn't remember the path we'd taken here, though I was pretty sure we went uphill, so maybe I had to go down. If I avoided the settlement and went back to the mountain stream, I could escape by following the wild roads. That was my best option, even with the difficulties considered. Thankfully, I'd taken my bag with me. I took out 5,000 yen note and put it in Shai's newspaper box. It was payment for last night's beer. The moment I turned around to take my leave, the door to the room next to the staircase opened slightly with a creak. I saw an eye glaring at me through the gap. Her high-pitched scream pierced my eardrums. I screamed too, scared shitless, and ran for it. Suddenly, I stepped onto the wet hallway floor at a bad angle. I fell. Thud, thud, thud.
Haru-chan! どうした?
Haru-chan, what's wrong?
ああ、誰このおっちゃん。
Whoa, who's this old guy?
あなた誰ですか? っていうか大丈夫ですか?
Who are you, and are you alright? The reasonable sounding voice prompted me to shake off the pain and raise my head. There were two boys in formal-looking school uniforms.
大丈夫ですか?
Are you alright? He repeated the question.
ああ、ちょっと驚いただけで。
Yeah, I was just startled.
ちゃん、ちえねえの友達?
You friends with Shai?
ああ、ちえみちゃんのことか。
大学の知り合いですか? お知り合いが来るなんて聞いてなかった。
Are you a friend of hers from college? She didn't tell us anyone was visiting.
いや、いろいろあって助けられたんだ。怪しいものじゃないんだ。怪しく見えるだろうけど。
No, I just got into some trouble and she helped me out. There's nothing shady about me, though I know that's hard to believe.
怪しいな、おっちゃん。
It really is, old man.
どうすればいいのかな。とりあえず、名前は房石春明と言います。
How do I handle this? My name's Hariaki Fusaishi.
僕は織部安永です。こっちは鴨志田近持。
I'm Yasunaga Arribe. This is Shikamochi Kamoshida.
モッチーだ。
Mochi is fine. Good to know. If I called him that, maybe he'd stop calling me old man. I was only 24.
それでこっちが。はるちゃん何してんの？
And this is Haru-chan. What are you doing?
だって知らない人が。
We don't know him. Apparently this Haru-chan was the person who looked at me through the gap in the door and
と
screamed.
りあえず大丈夫そうだから出ておいでよ。
He seems safe. Come out. A moment later, she slammed the door shut and after a few more moments of hesitation, opened it again. Oh, I love her little badges and her bracelet. Whoa. She looked like a student too, except her fashion sense was exceptionally
あ
flashy.
なた誰ですか？
Who are you?
房石春明といって、この近くでバイクで事故って芹沢千恵美さんに助けられたんだ。
My name's Haru. I crashed my motorbike nearby and Shai helped me out.
それってもしかして昨日の夜 CNA の部屋に。
Wait, are you saying you spent the night in her room?
うん、止めてもらった。
She cut my words short with her ear-piercing shriek.
通りで騒がしかったと思った。何考えてるの？
Nani?
嫁入り前の女性の家に不潔。
So that's why it was so noisy. What were you thinking? You're not supposed to enter an unmarried girl's room. It's indecent.
ああ、うん。それはその通りで、僕もちょっと躊躇はしたんだけど、千恵美ちゃんが親切で。
I was hesitant too, but she was kind enough to let me in.
ちえみちゃん？慣れ慣れしい。それじゃあもしかして CNA が出てこないのって。
Why are you acting like you've known her your whole life? What? Wait, she's not getting out. Don't tell me you...
ドアに5000円挟んであるじゃん。
There's a 5,000 yen note in the door.
房石さんまさか。
Don't tell me you...
違う。単に昨日お酒をおごられたからそのお返しで。
No. She just gave me lots of booze. I'm paying her back for that.
CNA の体が5000円ってそんな安いわけないでしょ。
Her body is worth way more than
ただ
that.
れてるな。
How dissolute. The hell were these kids saying?
ああ、君、助けてくれないか？
Hey, can you help me out?
初対面で女性の部屋でお酒を飲んだんですか？そして知恵姉は出てこない。
You drank with a girl you just met and she's not coming out. Crap, I had no allies here.
一体何事？
What's going on? And so the subject of the conversation joined in.
おお、千恵美ちゃん、君からも事情を説明。
Can you tell them what happened last night? Bruh. She finna accuse us. Something was off about her aura. What happened to the lively girl she'd been yesterday? She's hungover.
知恵姉まさか。
恥ずかしいとこを見られちゃった。
Man, this is embarrassing.
おお。いや、ちょっと待って、ちょっと。
もう嫁行けない。
I can't be a bride anymore. What a mess. Though Shai's face was all pale, she was actually grinning. She obviously had a bad hangover, but that didn't stop her from messing around. After calming everyone down, Shai explained what actually happened. How we met in the middle of the night, how she let me stay out of goodwill, how we drank ourselves silly, and how nothing happened between us.
いやー、久々に深酒しちゃって思いっきり入っちゃったよ。春明さん、お見苦しいとこ申し訳ない。
Man, it's been so long since I drank that much. Guess I wasn't prepared for it and puked it out. Sorry you had to see that, Haru.
ああ、いや、それはいいんだけど。
Yeah, whatever, bitch. I cleaned up your puke. That Haru girl still looked at me funny.
非常識。
Absurd.
ああ、うん。申し訳ない。
まあ知恵ねえだしな。雑把だよな。
Well, this is Shy we're talking about. She does whatever she
事
wants.
情も事情だし、年寄りたちも納得するかな。
He's got good reasons for being here too, so maybe the elders will
ち
understand.
なみに会ったのってどこです？
Where'd you find him anyway?
それはね。
下の
Well,
方の河原だよ。
next to the river further down. My words made everyone change their expressions.
それはちょっと。
That's a bit
大騒ぎだ。
a big deal.
2日連続で2人もだなんて。
Two people over just 2 days.
もしかしてまずいこと言った？
Did I say something bad?
はあ、まあいずれバレることよ。さっきあれだけ大騒ぎしちゃったから休みず中に知れちゃったろうし。
It was gonna get out sooner or later. We made quite a scene, so I wouldn't be surprised if everyone in Yasumizu already knows.
君、2日連続で2人もって何のこと？
Hey, what did you mean by 2 people over just 2 days?
触らないで。汚い。
Don't touch me, you're filthy. I wasn't trying to touch her, and I wasn't filthy. Sure, I hadn't had a bath in over a day, but still.
君、何が騒ぎになるの？
Why is it a big
タ
deal?
エバあたりが拒否ってなる。
Well, that sure sounded bad.
詳しい話を聞かせてくれない？
Can you tell me more?
ちょっと説明は難しいんですけど、まあここは田舎なんで町といろいろ違うってことですよ。
It's a bit complicated. For now, just keep in mind that this is the countryside. Things are different here than in the city. This guy here was Oraib Khan. Ignore Shy, and he was the easiest person to talk to.
どうすればいいかな？
What should I do?
まあちえみがなんとかしましょう。学生諸君はとりあえずご飯行かないと。
Just leave it to me, alright? And it's time for students to eat, isn't it?
この混乱には乗るっきゃない。
But I want to see where this mess goes.
乗るっきゃなくないもっち。とりあえず行っちゃいな。私らちょっと遅れていくから。
No, you don't. Just go already. We'll catch up.
まあちょっと時間ずらした方がいいよね。揉めそうだし。
Well, I guess it's best to go separately. There's probably going to be some disagreements.
さすがやすくん、察しがいいぞ。ごめんけど、二人のお守りよろしくね。
Yeah, I knew you'd understand, Yasu. Take care of them for me, alright?
うん。
Sure.
もう知恵ね、子供扱いはやめてよ。そうだ、うんこしてやるぞ。
I'll poop on you,
ほらほら行くぞ、モッチーにはるちゃん。
dog. So the students walked off towards the stairs. It was kind of easy to tell what sort of relationship they had.
彼
Anyway,
らがこの建物の他の住人？
so they live in this building too?
そういうこと。学生寮だからね、ここ。
Yep, it's a student dorm, you know? A student dorm in this Hicksville. Still, my senses had betrayed me. There actually were other people here.
ちなみに春明さん、他の人と出会ってトラブったりしてないよね。
By the way, you didn't run into anyone else and get in trouble, right?
うん。一応それ警戒してたから。
I was careful on that front.
ならよかった。よし、ちょっとしたら食堂に行きましょう。
Good, let's get ready to go to the dining hall
朝食？
for breakfast.
の、朝食は今から食べてください。食堂へは一応面通しをしに行くの。
Nope, eat your breakfast now. We'll go to the dining hall to introduce you
誰と？
to the
よ
elders.
そ者が皿長からやってきたってことに文句を言いそうな人たち。
To whoever has a problem with an outsider coming from Saranaga.
お世話になります。
いいってことです。その代わり、朝のことは秘密で。
If you're that grateful, keep what happened this morning a secret.
そりゃもちろん。ところで、皿長って何？あの河原？
Sure thing. What's Saranaga anyway? That river?
そう、皿長の瀬っていう川だけど、あの辺まとめて皿長って呼ぶの。ちょっと曰くのある場所でね。
Yep, the river is called Saranaga Rapids, but the area around it is called Saranaga. The place has some cultural significance.
曰く
うんあの川は汚れていて死人が帰ってくるみたいな伝説がね
Yep, they say it's a corrupt place where the dead return from the other side.
他にもその手のルールというかしきたりみたいなのが
Any other rules or customs I should be aware of?
たくさんありますなので基本ちえみちゃんにお任せを
Oh, there's lots, so just leave everything to me, alright? Gladly, on all
ち
fronts.
なみに身の危険とかは
If I may ask, am I in danger?
ないないでもいろいろ不愉快な思いをする前に早く出ていけた方がいいかも
No, but you should try to escape before something unpleasant happens to
その
you.
ための根回しに行くと
そうそう
The settlement I'd strayed to was a weird place, but at least the guide was reliable, and she wanted me to leave ASAP, huh?
Hmm?
That was depressing. Alright, boys, guess what? I am tired. Which is like the first time I can say that in the past like day and a half. I guess it was all the